What's up, Buttercup, and welcome back to my channel. Of course, I identify as Skin T. I'm a pretty and healthy gal, and I have pretty and healthy girl habits that I implement into my life every day. In this video, we are going to be talking about the big back mindset. Yep, I said it. The big back mindset. We are going to do not really a deep dive, but we're just going to do a dive. We're going to dip our fingers, dip our toes into the mindset of a big back. Now, before anyone tries to come for me, I was 300 pounds and 8 ounces. So therefore, I was a big back. I did have the big back mindset. So a lot of stuff in this video I will be talking about is from my experiences, my personal, my personal things. And I'm pretty sure it's going to resonate with a lot of other people, especially if you are on your weight loss, fat loss journey. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into the big back mindset. I have broken down the big back mindset into 4 talking points. And of course, I got to add some story times and, tell you some things. So you might as well grab you a nice cup of some pretty and healthy girl tea and let's have a chat. Okay? Yes, yes, and yes. So overall, the big back mindset in point number 1 is scarcity. Yeah, it's scarcity because you cannot go to a restaurant and just order one thing or maybe 2 things. You have to go into the restaurant and order everything. 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, a dessert to eat there, and a dessert to take home. That's a scarcity mindset, sis. Even though you are eating in an abundance, that is a scarcity mindset because you can always go back to this restaurant. Now, if you're out of town, okay, but even then, that's still excessive. Because most of the time, there's no food that's really that different if you think about it. Like, okay, yes, there's some food that is different and definitely worth trying, but not worth 2 entrees, 2 appetizers, 2 desserts, and the free bread. Like nothing is that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot. That's a lot. Now, it would be different if this was multiple people sitting down and it's like, okay, so we're going to order 2 appetizers, 2 entrees, and a dessert, and we're all sharing it. Or like 3 or 4 people were sharing it. But this is solely for you. So your bill by yourself is about $100 before you get into your drinky drinks. Before you get to your sodies. This is just $100 worth of food just going out for you. That's a scarcity mindset, sis. That's scarcity. Because you feel as though you're never going to get this again. So that's scarcity. Into the scarcity point is you're eating all your food. Not just some of it. I mean, you're eating all of it. That's a lot of food. You're eating all your food. Okay, so you're eating all your food. And that's scarcity because you feel as though each meal that you eat, you have to eat all your food. And maybe it was something because your parent was a food pusher. And listen, baby, I've been there. I've been chunky from the jump. I didn't stand a chance. Okay. It was like I was destined to be quote unquote big boned because my mother would cook turkey wings, rice and gravy, collard greens, cornbread, and a lemon pound cake on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday. And she would make a nice size plate, not for a kid, but I would say she would make a plate almost for like a teenager kind of. And I was maybe 5 or 6 at the time. And she would make a plate for me as the size of a teenager. And when she would make that plate, she'd be like, eat all your food because then you'll get a dessert. And I love a good lemon pound cake to this day. I still love some lemon pound cake. But that is, maybe she wasn't trying to be away, but that made me feel like I had to eat all my food all the time. And that's a scarcity mindset, because it's like you could just eat until you're satisfied, until you're satiated, and you're good. You could eat till you're just good and then come back. And that's one thing I've noticed with the big back mindset. There's never a sense of I can come back and eat this later. Like, okay, I'm full, I'm good. Well, I don't even like saying full no more. I like saying, I'm content. So you're at that content point and you can just stop. And if you want some more, come back in about 2 or so hours or eat that for dinner. But that's part of the big back mindset. And that's, like I said, point one is part of the scarcity, because you have to eat it there, because you're never going to get it. At the end of the day, it's fueled on you're never going to get this again, or it's going to be a while until you're able to get it. So you have to eat it all now. And another thing that I'm still going to wrap into the point one with the scarcity is getting your money's worth. This was something EU, another content creator, she had mentioned about. And it was crazy when she said it, but this was something that I used to do, especially in the beginning of my weight loss journey. And it was getting your money's worth. And that was something that I did. I wanted to get my money's worth all the time. So whenever me and my husband, we would go out to eat, or even before me and my husband got together, and I would be out with the girlies, or especially with my mom, because that's another story. But it was all about getting your money's worth. And I believe that came from my mother, because she grew up, not saying poor, but I would just say not in the best conditions. So when she finally grew up and had her own money and finances and stuff, it was just kind of ingrained in her you better get your money's worth. You go out to the restaurant, you get your money's worth. Don't be wasting no food. Don't be throwing away no food. Get your money's worth, okay? And that was just something that always stuck with me, even as a young kid, So you always ate all your food, and you always got your money's worth. So you go to the restaurant, they giving you free bread, you eat the free bread, and you eat your appetizer, and you eat your entree. And they offer more free bread. You take that free bread, ask for a to-go box while you're eating your food, and you take that bread home. So you can eat that bread later, because that can be another meal for later, because you got to get your money's worth. When really getting your money's worth is the fact you get to sit down, you get to enjoy the company of whoever you are with, and you don't have to cook. And especially for me, because I'm cooking all the time. I am meal prepping literally all throughout the week, because I found out I don't like a whole week meal prep. I don't like eating the same thing for a whole week. Give me 3 to 4 days, and then I switch it up. So pretty much I meal prep all throughout the week. I cook for my husband, so I'm always cooking. So for me, when me and my husband do go out to eat, it's more of I'm enjoying the time with him. I'm enjoying not having to cook. And I get to try something different. And that's my money's worth. I don't have to do dishes. He doesn't have to do dishes. I don't have to clean up the kitchen because, okay, and I'm thankful for him, helping me clean up the kitchen. But when for people that cook, especially with chicken and, meats and stuff, you got to sanitize. Like, you can't just clean. You have to sanitize. So I'm the person that cooks. Well, no, I get my chicken, I wash it, and I cut it up and all that type of stuff. And then while it's cooking, I'm spraying down everything. I'm spraying down the sink, whatever I use to cook the chicken with. So it's also like a whole cleanup as well. So that's getting your money's worth. But the way that it was taught to me was you pretty much just eat as much as you can. You eat as much as whatever they give you free, you get it, and you make sure you take it home. So this is going to pretty much wrap up part one, which was scarcity. Now, with point two of the big back mindset, you are simply seeking for fulfillment in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you have a terrible job. Maybe you're stressed and you're emotional eating. Whatever is going on, you are seeking some form of fulfillment, and it just happens to come through food. Unfortunately, that high is only going to last for a little bit. So until you get to the root issue, you are always going to be searching for that high. You are always going to be trying to find that fulfillment. And I will be completely honest, this was some years ago. And I was working at a job that was not, it was okay, but it just was not the best. No, it wasn't okay. It wasn't the best for me. I felt very overworked and underpaid. I was very stressed. My home situation was not the best. So, and I felt like I had no control of my life in a sense. I feel like I had no control. And what I really looked forward to is Friday when I got paid, because I automatically will put $40 aside. And that $40 was to get my oxtails, rice and peas. It's like, so you get a plate and it's oxtails, rice and peas, mac and cheese. I would get a side of the plantains, and I might get a side of oxtails because I would get mad. Lord. I might get a side of oxtails because they didn't put enough oxtails in the plate. I would get a side of oxtails to make my plate look the way that I wanted it to look. And then I would have a slice of this sweet potato cake from this mom and pop shop and a really cold, crispy Sprite. And that's what I looked forward to, because I didn't have no fulfillment, because I wasn't living my life for myself. I was living my life for others. I was a heavy people pleaser back in the day too, y'all. Heavy people pleaser. So I didn't know how to deal with this stuff. And then, when you wrap up that religion and wrap up not the real Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the fake one that they talk about, they use Jesus to manipulate you to do stuff for them. Another video. But I was up in all of that. I was the victim of all of that. So I was seeking for fulfillment, and it just happened to come through from food. And yeah, that gave me a sense of excitement. That gave me a sense of, it just gave me a sense of something to look forward to. Because the thing was, I was working too. And all my money I was working, it was going away because I was a people pleaser. Yeah. Another story, another video. But yeah, all my money would go away. So pretty much I would work hard at not the best job, or a job that I felt very, overworked, underpaid at. So I was already, upset about that. Then my living situation wasn't the best because my rent was super high. Now, this is back in the 2012s, 2013s, 14, kind of like around that era. So, like I said, I got all that food for $40. You cannot get an oxtail plate. Everything that I just said, you can't get that for $40 unless you are in the slums. You are in the country part. But yeah, I was seeking for fulfillment that it was never there. It wasn't there. So therefore it came in food, and that's just what I looked forward to. And that's most big bags. Let's be real. If we're going to really talk about it and we're going to sip on our tea because we're cute, we're pretty and healthy, and we can reflect, because when you are healthy, you are whole, you are healed. So therefore you can talk about things. You can talk about where you came from. So yeah, but you're seeking for, fulfillment. So let's just be real. A lot of the big bags, if you really sit down and talk with people that are, overweight, like real talk, no body positivity, no love your body, hey, I'm fat and I'm proud, none of that. But really sit down and talk with some people and tell them, ask them, and you would ask them like what their dreams are, things that they would want in life and all of that. And I'm pretty sure they will tell you their dreams and then tell you what they feel is like limiting them. And I guarantee you some stuff is some weight. There are some people, and I'm not trying to say everybody, I'm just saying people with the big back mindset. So therefore, if it applies, it applies, okay? If it applies, it applies. If it's not you, don't be tussling in these YouTube street comment sections. Because if you're tussling, that means something resonates with you and I'm calling you out. I'm calling that spirit out and you don't like it. So that's why you're trying to tussle with me in the comments. But that's okay. Help mama get paid. That's cool too. All I'm saying, Buttercup, is no one actually wants to be big. No one wants to really be overweight for real. If you really sit down with someone that is overweight and they are talking uncandid and all type of stuff, no one actually wants to be overweight. That's all I'm really trying to say. Okay. I can see your fingers now, just a tickety tacking on the comment section on that keyboard. But anyway, moving on to part 3 of the Big Back Mindset, and it is simply addiction. You are addicted to food. You are addicted to the high of it, that dopamine hit. You are addicted to the smell of it, the drive of going to that spot and walking in and smelling the food. You're romanticizing it. You're straight up lusting over a cheeseburger. You're lusting over it. And it's an addiction because you don't have control. When I think of an addiction, I think of something I have to have, and I feel as though I have no control over it. And that's pretty much what the Big Back Mindset is. There's some addiction in there. You have an addicting personality. You're addicted to food. You're addicted to that high of the food, the taste of the food. You're addicted to it. When you are eating large meals multiple times a day, eating when you're not hungry, yeah, you can say it's habits, but I also look at some stuff it's an addiction. Like when you feel like it's been 3 hours and you have to eat because you feel like you're just gonna pass out, but you just ate a loaded, huge meal, even though some of it could be processed, but still, it's an addiction. And I'm gonna say what I need to say because it's the truth. When I was at my heaviest of 300 pounds and 8 ounces, I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm gonna keep reminding y'all where I've come from and just the things I've noticed too along my journey from other people. But yeah, so I've been there. I can talk about it. But it's an addiction. When you're eating multiple large meals a day and you know you're not hungry, you're actually overfull. Your body hasn't even digested yesterday's meal, the food that you ate from 2 days ago. So you have all this excess food in your stomach, your colon, you haven't pooed it out, and you know you're backed up because you're eating grease, you're eating processed stuff. You're high because you're eating all this food and you go into a coma. So that's just like, not saying like overdosing, but like think about it. You're having a high and you're passing out from eating so much because your body literally has to shut you down go to sleep just so it can process the food. That's what a food coma is, y'all. That's what a real food coma is. Your body has to kind of like put you to sleep just so it can process all that food that you just eaten or figure out what to do with it. That's why you go to sleep. So that's no different than someone shooting up, X, Y, and Z to catch some type of feeling. That you're in the same category. It's just your addiction, your drug of choice is food. Especially if you are sneaking and eating. I'm not talking about no sneaky links. I'm talking about the sneaky chips. Well, no, it sounds better in my head. But anyway, you're not going to a sneaky link. You are sneaking and eating. Whenever you feel shameful of eating, you know you're doing too much. If you have to eat in a corner, in a closet, if you have to eat somewhere kind of hidden so no one can see how much you're eating, that's an addict. You're an addiction. You have an addiction and you are an addict. Say it with me. Say, welcome. Hi, my name is so and so, and you are addicted to food. Because if you have to hide it, that means you are shameful. If you're hiding anything, you are shameful of whatever it is. You should not feel ashamed to eat in front of people unless you're eating crazy. Now, this was something that I knew when I was 300 pounds and 8 ounces. I knew I had to get in check because I would eat, like a full meal. Like I said, like not the whole oxtail one, but I would still have some large meal. I would have some type of large meal. And it would be like 30 minutes later, and I swear I would be like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, hold on, something is not right. You just ate a huge meal. How can you be hungry in less than 30 minutes or 2 hours? You're already hungry. That's when I knew something. I knew there was a problem. I knew something was going on with me. I knew there was a problem. I just knew it because I was like, this isn't normal. This is not normal behavior. This is not normal. You don't do that. And I remember I got on the scale and I was like, I said, dang, I'm 300 pounds and 8 ounces. Like, wow, I really, let myself go. How did I get here? This and that. So, and I remember I went to bed and I had a dream of me getting on the scale. And when I got on the scale, in the dream, I was 300 pounds, 315 pounds exactly. And when I woke up that morning, I was like, if I don't get control of this now, I don't know what's going to happen to me. Straight up, real facts, no chaser, whatever you want to say. That was that moment it hit me where I was like, I don't know. Because 300 pounds has always been my max weight. Even when I was younger and I had gained weight, I got to 300 pounds. Then I got to 300 and I just kind of would play around with 240 and 260. I just kind of played between those numbers a lot. But I was like, I never want to get over 300 pounds. Like that was something I used to say back in the day. I never want to get over 300 pounds. But now here I am at 300 pounds again and 8 ounces. So I'm already over 300. Now I had a dream telling me pretty much if I stayed on this path, I was going to be 315 pounds. That was the dream that I had. And it could have been more because it could be 315 and growing because I would have kept those same behaviors. I talk about in other videos about big back behaviors, things that keep you big. I'm talking about that stuff because I lived through it, y'all. I lived through it. I have family members that are overweight. I have family members that are still in the same place that I left them years ago, and they have gained more weight, and they're calling me out for a tomato cucumber salad, saying it is not a salad. I had a family member, y'all, that told me a tomato cucumber salad is not a salad because they assume that a salad is just like lettuce. Anyway, I've digressed. But yes, so that was just my wake up call. And it just showed, I realized, I had an addiction. And then I realized too, there were some things that had happened in my life, and I was dealing with some things at that time as well. And like I said, people pleaser, but then also learning my voice, learning how to say no, like, just still learning myself, even though it's like, well, you're almost 30, you're 28, you're 27. Listen, I lived a very sheltered life. So all I knew was all I knew. And I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to stand up for myself in certain things. So it took me to being an adult to learn how to say no, to learn who I am. It's a whole journey, okay? It's a whole journey. But here we are now. Look at God. But yes, addiction. And like I said, if you're sneaking and eating, you have an addiction. And I would say that too, because I remember one time, like I said, I had ate a good amount of food, and then I had like this slice of cake, and it was like a nice slice of cake, but I didn't want to take it upstairs with me to eat. So I was like, I'll just eat it down here. I'm just going to eat it down here and stuff like that. And that was like my little excuse. Little excuse. That was my excuse. But the real thing was, you just ate a huge meal and you didn't want to eat a slice of cake so soon and like with your husband. Because pretty much, let me tell you something too, y'all. My husband can eat. He can eat. So the plates that I'm telling you that I was pretty much eating, he was eating that and some. So to me, it seemed like, well, I'm eating less than him. He's a man, so I'm eating less than him. It's like, well, girl, y'all kind of two linebackers just sitting there. You're two linebackers just sitting there eating. So there was some shame to it. So I would eat my cake kind of like downstairs, and then I come back upstairs or whatever. But yeah, so if you're sneaking and eating, you got an addiction, and that's part of the big bag mindset. Yeah, that's part of it. Now we're I believe, oh no, we're not wrapping up. We're still going. Whew, I hope your tea is still hot. Do you need a refill, darling? Do you need a refill on your tea? You got enough? Did you need a cucumber sandwich? Macaroon? Okay, you're good? Okay. To part 4 of the Big Back Mindset is you have limited beliefs and you are misinformed. And that is so true. Limited beliefs. You're not big. You're just big boned. Your mama was big, your daddy was big, your grandpappy was big, your great-great-great-grandpappy was big. So it's just your genes. It's just genetics. You have health issues. That's why it's so hard for you to lose weight, because your body is just saying it likes being in the state that it is in. So every time that you try to do those diets and you're having these headaches and you're having all these issues, that's because your body just wants to be the way that it is. So you should just love yourself as it is. Why do you want to change? You should love yourself. God created you, and he said it was good. He also said be prosperous and be in good health. And last time I checked, being a big back is not healthy. So that's a part of the limited beliefs. It's to your core sometimes. Whether you want to admit it or not, if you're a big back or, whatever you want to call yourself, you have those limited beliefs that you can't lose weight. It's hard for you to lose weight. Your body is just the way that it is. You should just love it. I remember saying at a young age, teenish age, and I was talking with someone of the church, and I was just saying, like, I don't like looking the way that they look, and I was just doing all this talking, and they encouraged me, but it really wasn't encouragement. It was complacentness or whatever that word is. That's what it was. Because they literally said, God made you in his eyes, and you are a masterpiece, and you should love yourself for who you are, and you should love yourself because God loved you. And it was like, at that moment, it was like, yeah, that was nice to say, but what would have been really better to say is like, well, you know what? Let's work together. Let's get a workout program. Let's get a dietitian. Let's work on this. And through faith and putting works together, we're going to get you to where we need to get you at. And then we're also going to have God along the way. And, it should have went a whole nother way. But every time, and I'm telling you, every time when I tried to lose weight as a kid, that was something that was put in my mind as it is hard for you to lose weight. So why even try? And I believed that for the longest time. Like, I believed that for a long time. Like, I'm just meant to be that way. So, it is what it is. I'm just big boned. Now, y'all, I've lost 106 pounds and I'm falling off the bone. Okay, I'm falling off the bone. When I actually look at myself and see how I'm falling off the bone, I was like, you lied to me. You lied to me. I am not big boned. I am regular boned. I'm normal bone density. So that's a lie. If anyone says you're big bone, unless you are super tall, like super tall, but even then, your bones are for your body. If you take one of those like little exam thingies and it shows you your actual skeletal muscle, you will see your skeletal muscles are pretty normal or regular. It's just a whole bunch of fat around them. It's a whole bunch of fat around it. It's not the bones that's big, baby. It's everything else. It's everything else. But that was one of the limited beliefs that I did have. It was a limited belief. Also, limited belief that I had was potatoes are bad. What else was it? It was just a whole bunch of limited beliefs, and it was you're being misinformed. Because haven't you ever noticed that the biggest people always have all the health advice? Or not saying like the biggest person, but it's always someone that's somewhat overweight. I'm going to just say, yeah, it's always the big person or someone that's like trying to give you some type of health information. Like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. And it's like, well, if you're such the health expert, the math ain't math, if you know what I'm saying. It's not mathing. So there are a lot of limited beliefs that are kind of put into the big back mindset. And like I said, all these points come together to make the big back mindset. This is just some, little breakdown somewhat, I'm rambling at this point. But yes, you have limited beliefs. Oh, I remember one time, y'all, I was working out so hard as a kid, right? And I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know about calories because, again, I'm misinformed. You don't know nothing about calories. It's a unit of energy. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. But anyway, I would work out and I would train really hard. And I'd get on the scale on Monday or whenever it was like a week from the last weigh-in. And I swear, one of my parental figures said to me, see, this is why I told you can't lose weight because you build muscle too fast. That's why I told you not to work out, because when you're doing all this working out, you're going to be building all this muscle and you're not going to lose no weight. I told you that. That's what this parental figure told me. And it stuck with me for a while because I did not know, like I said, I've been big all my life. I've been chunky all my life. I didn't know how to lose weight. I didn't know nothing about calories. In the house, we never had fruit in the house. And if we did have fruit, it was a strawberry shortcake. It had real strawberries in it, but it was a strawberry shortcake. It was a strawberry cream cheesecake Danish thingy. It was banana pudding. It was a pineapple upside down cake. It was a lemon pound cake made with real lemons, but a lemon pound cake. It was a coconut cream pie. So you get what I'm saying? Like there's fruit, but there's fruit with a whole bunch of sugar. It's not like we just had fruit. It's not like we just had bananas in the house. And I just went for a banana and peanut butter. No. If we had bananas, it was banana pudding. If we had fruit, there was a way to big back it. It was a way to big back it. So, yes, but that parental figure told me not to work out because I would gain muscle. What really was happening was, yes, there could have been some muscle gain, but the fact that I would work out, and no one tells you that when you work out and, you're running and you're doing all this training and stuff like that, that it makes you hungry. So therefore, I was eating more. I was eating salads. I would get so upset, like I ate salad all week and I didn't lose any weight because I was misinformed. I would eat a salad, but no one told me that the ranch dressing has so much calories in it. No one told me that, yes, it's grilled chicken, but if you're going to kind of pan fry it, you're getting a good amount of that oil into the chicken, so therefore there's more calories. Nobody told me that you're putting too much bacon on your salad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was limited beliefs and misinformed is the big back mindset. Because you see how that go hand in hand? That's what was going on. So that's why I never lost weight. And because I would, quote unquote, eat healthy, at least I thought I was eating healthy, and I did not lose weight, it goes back to the limited beliefs that I was meant to be a big back from the jump. Like, your fate. The odds that was in my favor was a big back, being a big back. So, yes. And then also limited beliefs is, you're thinking healthy food is boring. It's not tasty. And healthy food is amazing. Healthy food actually tastes way better. Like, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to say this 10 toes standing on business. My Chipotle bowl is better than Chipotle. Okay? The Chipotle bowl don't stand a chance against my Chipotle bowl. Now, if Chipotle ever wants to sponsor me, hello, darling. I would take the sponsorship. But anyway, my at-home version of any food that I like that I make at home, it tastes way better. It's fresher. It's less crazy stuff and like ingredient-wise. So healthy food is very tasty. If you don't know how to cook, sis, just say that. If you don't know how to make grilled chicken breast without smothering it in oil, just say that. Let's be honest. We're sitting down, we're having tea and being ladies. So, just say you don't know how to do it. And if you're a part of the Pretty and Healthy Girl Club, I'm pretty sure someone's going to tell you, oh, no, darling, you take your chicken and you wet brine it for about 12 hours or, wet brine it for anywhere from 2 to 12 hours to get it nice and tenderized. And then you're going to get you a cast iron skillet, get it nice and hot, see? And you're going to put either a little dab of olive oil or you're going to use your olive oil cooking spray, and you're going to do a light spray of that. Once your pan is nice and ready, you're going to lay your chicken on the opposite direction so you don't get splattered and burn your beautiful skin. Let it cook for about 2.5 minutes on one side and then 2 minutes on the other. Then you're going to pop it in the oven in 350 degrees for about 3 minutes. Take it out. Now you're going to sit it in another plate and simply let it rest, because as you're letting it rest, it's collecting all the juices it needs. So when you slice into that chicken breast, it's going to be tender, it's going to be juicy and well seasoned, and the most important part, it's going to be low calorie. See, that's what the Pretty and Healthy Girl Club does. So if you don't know how to cook, just, put it down in the comment section. I'm pretty sure we'll help you out. But yes, healthy food is not boring. It is very tasty, but because of your limited beliefs and because with the big back mindset, it's so extreme that there's super fried chicken and then there's just tomatoes. Like, you don't see the beauty of a tomato. Like, a tomato can really be an awesome tomato cucumber salad. You can bake it with some garlic and use some pita chips, and it tastes amazing. Like, there's so much beautiful things you can do with a tomato versus just fried chicken. Like, fried chicken is good too, but the tomato is good. You can't see. You have limited beliefs into that tomato. And I need you to find your belief. Do you believe in magic? Anyway, what else do I have? Oh, also limited belief is assuming salad is healthy. I know I just talked about it, but yeah, assuming a salad is healthy, thinking you have to eat salad all the time, and there's only one type of salad. And if you notice with the big back mindset, everyone always, the first thing that they do, they cut out carbs, they cut out this, they cut out sugar, they cut out all these things and jump to the most bland, well, not saying bland, they jump to the most simplest thing. You got a salad with some nasty overcooked chicken breast that probably tastes like shoestrings. You probably don't have no salad dressing. You don't know nothing about Greek yogurt. And then you might have a boiled egg with no salt and pepper on it and 2 tomatoes. And I'm like, looking at that, yeah, I don't want no salad. If it looks like that, you can take it back. Take it back. Pudge won't even eat that. Pudge likes seasoned too. So, Anyway, assuming a salad is healthy and thinking healthy food is expensive, I don't know what it is. Everyone thinks healthy food is super expensive. And I'm just going to tell you, and I want you to hold your pearls. Healthy food is not expensive. It's not. Now, if you are going for the whole organic route and the Whole Foods, well, even with Whole Foods, they have deals and specials. You just got to catch them. But if you're going for that route of super organic and this and this and this and that and grass fed, then yeah, healthy food to you, quote unquote, is going to be expensive. That's going to be expensive. But you know, a tomato is literally 75 cents for one tomato. A cucumber is 30 something cents, maybe 50 cents. And a rotisserie chicken is $5. And a bag of regular rice, and even a small bag of regular rice, is like $1.50 or maybe $2. So we have seven. So let's just say $8 with that tomato and the cucumber. I can make a tomato cucumber salad, chop up everything. That's one salad that serves at least 2 meals. With the rice, if you actually portion control like you should, you can probably get maybe 4 to 6 servings out of that one bag of rice. And if you portion size your rotisserie chicken, portion size it, you can get at least, I would say, 5 to 6 meals out of it. If you actually go by the portion, 5 to 6 meals. And that's actually a good meal. You have the tomato cucumber salad, which is lots of volume. You're going to have the rice, which is some type of starch. And you're going to have the protein of the rotisserie chicken. So all that was $8. And it's like, oh, but that's expensive. I can hear you now. That's expensive. That's expensive. I'm going to tell you something. My husband, he got some food from Chick-fil-A. And it was like, a chicken sandwich, meal or whatever. And that was $8 and some change for just one meal. But what I just said was enough for potentially 5 meals. Because you can get like I said, rotisserie chicken, a nice tomato, maybe 2 cucumbers, a bag of rice. What else could you get? If you're trying to do something cheap, some bananas and maybe some oats. Get you some almond milk. Like, you can do pretty good. You can do for $30. I'm gonna have to do a video and show y'all how to eat healthy for $30, $40, $50. I'm gonna do that, because I hear people saying healthy food is very expensive. Healthy food is not expensive. Healthy food is, in the words of Hannah Montana, life is what you make it. So let's make it rock. If you look at healthy food as being expensive, it will be expensive, but it's not. Because I will tell you this. Being overweight is expensive. Being a big back is expensive. Like, think about like what I said earlier, when you're trying to get your money's worth and eat all the food up and all that type of stuff. And you want to try everything, because you can't just eat one thing. You're spending $100 in one sitting for a couple of meals, but you're eating too much. So that same $100 for groceries, you could eat off for 2 weeks. And this is something completely off topic, y'all. We're going to get back on track, but a little off topic. So ever since I have become skinty, my food lasts so much. Like, it goes a long way now. And I remember when I first started my health journey, I would get healthy food, but I would eat it all like in 2 or 3 days. Like, I would eat a whole bunch of healthy food in a short amount of time. I'd be like, this food doesn't last as long, and this and that. But now I get healthy food, y'all. My grocery bill went down. I mean, ever since I've been skinty, darling, the grocery bill is not as high as it used to be. And food lasts way longer. Food lasts longer. So, and even when I do my grocery hauls, that food is lasting me 2 to sometimes 3 weeks. Or it lasts for, like, my proteins will last me about 2 weeks. And then I would just go and get maybe some fresh produce or something. So, healthy food is not expensive. That is a limited belief that was put into you. Everyone talks about being super organic. and all that kind of stuff. And let's be honest, you're eating too much. Because if you're really, ooh, yep, I'm clutching pearls. I'm stepping on some toes. If you're really, how should I say this? If you're really in a situation, you should be losing weight. Like, think about it. If you don't have enough money, you should kind of be like losing weight because you don't have enough food, right? So if you are overweight, that means you are overeating in something. There's an abundance of something. So therefore, it's not adding up when you're saying healthy food is expensive. But even if you're eating the crappy food, you're still eating a lot of the crappy food. Because you could probably still lose weight on the crappy food if you stopped eating so much of it. Yeah, I came for some people then. I wasn't trying to come for nobody specifically. If it applies, it applies. Don't get mad at me. I'm just talking. Okay? Because even when I didn't have a lot of money, I was buying crappy food and I was buying like pizzas and stuff, but I was eating too much of the pizza. I would buy crappy food, but I was eating way too much of it. So therefore, I was still overweight while being in a bad situation, not the best finances. So yeah, okay. Anyway, I know I said, I believe 4 points, but I'm going to just throw this in there as well, a little bonus for you. It's the all or nothing mindset. I remember BG, she was talking about this in another video, and just in my journey, it was very true what she said, and I just have to say it's true because I had that mindset, especially when I was younger. Like I said, being chunky and stuff. I remember, oh my gosh, I went one day and I did not eat for a whole week. I quote unquote went on a fast. It wasn't a fast though. It was starvation because there was nothing spiritual about it. I went the whole week not eating, but I would eat one meal a day. So I went the whole week eating one meal a day. But that one meal a day was a plate of buttered rice, turkey wings, gravy, cornbread, cabbage with the ham hock meat in it, and something else. But yeah, that was like a whole week of that one meal. So first of all, I was starving myself. And then on top of starving myself, my first meal was crazy. So not only am I starving myself, I'm putting crazy food into my body. Super high calorie. So my body is actually going to hold on to that meal because it thinks it's not going to get another meal. And I end up gaining weight. Yep. The all or nothing mindset. Because you have limited beliefs. Because you are misinformed. Because you have an addiction. Because you are seeking fulfillment. Because there is a sense of scarcity in your life. And it's all or nothing. You have the big back mindset. You're overtraining. You're barely eating. You associate sweat with a good workout. If you are not sweating, it's not a good workout. You're not burning calories. Yeah, all or nothing. There's no in between. You can't just have 2 Oreo thins. You got to have the whole box of Oreo thins. They're not even Oreo thins. They're the regular Oreos. The family size on that. Yeah, because I know some peoples. And I've been the peoples. I'm telling my testimony. And yeah, so it's just an all or nothing. I remember when I first started my journey, because like I said, I've been trying to lose weight, all my life. I would lose weight and kind of just hang out between 260, get down to about maybe 240. If I did really good, maybe 230, 235, but I always hung out there. My lowest at one point was 220, and that was pretty much me being a vegan. I was doing CrossFit and hot yoga twice a day, 5 to 6 days out the week, sometimes 7 days of just training. And I only ate 1,400 calories. And that was the smallest I ever been at that time. But you see how extreme that was. I was vegan. I was barely eating because 1,400 calories with all the activity that I was doing, that's barely eating. and then you're training twice a day, and then it's like sometimes 5 to 6 times a day, 5 to 6 times a week, and I would still work out on Sunday as well. I would still work out on Sunday. So essentially, I would be working out the whole week, barely eating. And like I said, I associated sweat with a good workout. So if I wasn't sweating, it wasn't a good workout. If I, did some workouts or whatever and I didn't sweat, I felt like it wasn't good enough. So I said, I'm going to stay in the gym for another hour. There would be days, y'all, I would train for almost 3 hours a day. Now, I was definitely lean. I did not have no muscle because there was no protein. There was nothing to really build off. So I was lean. I still have my booty. She just gonna be there, period. Okay, she I've been blessed with that. I was blessed with the booty. Thanks the Lord. Anyway, but yes, yeah. So you see how extreme that is. Now I was training I was training like 5 times at the beginning of this year, and now I kind of train really 4 to 5-ish times throughout the week, but also the intensity has changed. I am not trying to jump all over the place, baby. I ain't trying to do all of that. I get me a couple of hip thrusts in. I get a couple of Bulgarian splits. I get some pumps, push-ups. I do a couple of things. I still do what needs to be done, and I get my walk on. That is it, because, again, you have limited beliefs. You are misinformed because you associate with losing weight is working out hard and training hard, but nobody tells you, because, again, you're misinformed with the big back mindset, that it's not really the workout. It's not the workout at all. 80% of weight loss, for real, is your food. I would even say 90% of weight loss is your food. Then working out and getting your steps in, that just helps, enhance what you're trying to do. But really, if you want to solely focus on just weight loss, it's your food. Of course, you can still do some more activity and stuff, but still it breaks down to your food. It breaks down to your food. That all or nothing mindset is terrible. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm going to wrap it on up because I have talked a long time. I'm going to let this digest, We had our tea, we had our crumpets and our cucumber sandwiches. Now it's time for us to go for our walk, burn that off, just get a little movement in the legs. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on the big back mindset. So until next time, darlings, you already know. Darlings. Until next time, Buttercup, you already know. Make sure you are going for your pretty and healthy girl walk. Get your green juice and meal prep your food. Until next time, bye.